It was supposed to be a routine flight, a simple hop from New York to Miami on a clear summer day. On July 2, 1955, Pan-Continental Flight 914 taxied onto the runway. 57 passengers and 4 crew members settled in as the DC-4 aircraft lifted off at 9:55 a.m. The skies were a brilliant, cloudless blue. At 10:03, Captain William Patterson's calm voice crackled over the radio, confirming they were cruising at 9,000 feet. Then, nothing. Absolute silence. On the radar screen at air traffic control, the blip representing Flight 912 simply winked out of existence over the Atlantic coast. There was no distress signal, no mayday call, no wreckage. For weeks, search parties scoured the ocean, but they found nothing. Not a single life vest, not a piece of fuselage, not even an oil slick on the water's surface. At the airport terminals, hope withered into grief as families clutched photos of their missing loved ones. The airline eventually released a heartbreaking statement. Presumed lost over the Atlantic. No survivors. But for the investigators, the story was far from over. A haunting question lingered, something that defied all logic. The flight plan didn't take the plane over deep water, and its last known radar ping was only 40 miles from the coast. Wreckage should have been found. But the most unsettling detail was buried in the air traffic control logs, a secret that would be sealed away for decades. After disappearing from one radar screen, Flight 914's signature blinked back into existence for exactly 2 seconds, 700 miles away, over the Caribbean. And then, just as quickly, it was gone again. The event was quietly filed away as unexplained, but in a dusty air traffic control vault in Caracas, Venezuela, one tape reel remained, labeled 914 Transmission Audio Archive, waiting. Decades passed. The world changed. Then, on March 9, 1992, the silence was broken. The air traffic control tower in Caracas, Venezuela, picked up an unidentified aircraft aggressively entering their airspace. It had no transponder signal, no flight plan on file. The operators assumed it was a smuggler, a common annoyance. They prepared to issue a warning, but then a voice came through the static, crisp and professional. This is Pan-Continental Flight 914, en route from New York to Miami. ETA, 9:45 a.m. requesting landing clearance. The control room fell silent. Every operator froze. A veteran controller named Juan Morales leaned into his microphone, his voice tight. Flight 912, repeat your origin and destination? The pilot's reply was immediate, courteous, with a clipped 1950s American accent. New York to Miami, over. Juan's hand trembled as he looked at the calendar on the wall. The plane that had vanished 37 years ago was asking for permission to land. On the radar, its signature was a perfect match for a Douglas DC-4, an antique, a museum piece. Under the bright Venezuelan sun, the vintage aircraft made a flawless landing at Caracas International. Airport personnel gathered on the tarmac, their faces a mixture of confusion and disbelief. The plane's fuselage was weathered but completely intact. Its engines purred as if they were brand new. And then they saw the passengers. Through the small curtained windows, figures moved. Men in fedoras and sharp suits, women in vibrant summer dresses, children in neat collared shirts. They looked alive, but their expressions were of pure confusion. They pressed their faces against the glass, squinting at the sleek modern jets parked nearby, their eyes wide with bewilderment. One man was seen holding up a newspaper. The date on the front page was July 2nd, 1955. The situation on the tarmac was escalating into something surreal. Immigration officers approached the DC-4 cautiously, their radios crackling with frantic, hushed orders. The flight crew refused to open the doors or disembark. From the cockpit, the pilot's voice, now laced with agitation, came over the frequency. Where are we? This isn't Miami. Juan Morales in the control tower tried to de-escalate, to explain the impossible. You've landed in Caracas, Venezuela, he said slowly. The year is... He never finished his sentence. A deafening burst of static erupted through the channel. followed by an unnerving silence. Then, without any warning, the old engines roared back to life. The DC-4 began taxiing, turning back towards the active runway. Security vehicles scrambled, sirens wailing as they gave chase, but it was too late. The antique plane accelerated with an unnatural speed, its wheels lifting from the pavement before anyone could intercept it. Within minutes, it climbed into the sky, and just as it had appeared, it vanished from radar. Again, military jets were scrambled, but they found nothing. No visual confirmation, no heat signature, nothing. The only proof that Flight 914 had ever landed were the tire tracks scorched onto the runway, a few scattered boarding passes dated 1955, and a small gold wedding ring found glinting on the asphalt engraved with the words "Forever, Helen to Mark, 1955. That evening, a shaken Juan Morales reviewed the audio logs from the encounter. He isolated the final transmission from the pilot. As he slowed the recording down, a new sound emerged from beneath the static and the pilot's panicked voice. It was a low, chilling murmur, almost like a chant. Dozens of overlapping voices, whispering in distorted, warped English. He played it again and again, straining to understand. And then, one phrase cut through the noise, clear and terrifying. "We never landed." The official response was swift and decisive. Within hours, American agents were on site in Caracas. They collected every piece of evidence, the boarding passes, the tarmac samples, the audio recordings. Juan Morales was interrogated for 9 grueling hours, then forced into early retirement with a stark warning. Speak about what he saw, and he would face imprisonment. The incident was scrubbed from official records, but secrets like this have a way of getting out. Weeks later, a classified document was leaked online. It detailed the coordinates over the Atlantic where the plane's transponder had briefly reappeared. Satellite imaging of the location showed nothing but open ocean, except for a faint, ghostly vapor trail that began in the middle of nowhere and ended abruptly in midair. Journalists, smelling a cover-up, tried to track down surviving employees from the long-defunct Pan-Continental airline. They found a former flight attendant, now in her 80s. What she told them added another layer of mystery to the story. "That crew, they weren't supposed to fly that day," she whispered. "The original captain called in sick. The replacement pilot, Patterson, he wasn't on the company roster. He just showed up with perfect ID and paperwork. Nobody questioned it." Theories exploded across the internet. A time slip, a top-secret government experiment, a case of mass hallucination. But none of it could explain the physical artifacts left behind. Then, in 1997, the story took another dark turn. A small heavy metal device arrived in an anonymous package at an aviation museum in Florida. It was a charred, damaged flight recorder with a corroded label that read P914. Forensic analysis confirmed the impossible. The device was authentic 1950s technology. The museum worked with experts to painstakingly decode the mangled recording inside. What they found was horrifying. It began with fragments of normal cockpit chatter. Visibility clear, coastal lights ahead. Then confusion. "Wait, there's another runway. No, that can't be right." The calm chatter dissolved into screaming. A high-pitched metallic shriek tore through the audio, and then a man's voice, repeating a single phrase over and over again, his tone broken. "We didn't land. We crossed. We crossed." The tape ended with a sound that no audio analyst could identify. A disturbing blend of howling wind, layered human voices, and something that sounded disturbingly like a giant heartbeat, slowing, until it stopped. The legend of Flight 914 didn't end there. It evolved into a ghost story whispered among pilots and air traffic controllers. From 2002 to 2017, a disturbing pattern emerged. Pilots flying routes across the Caribbean reported unexplained radar echoes. Short, fleeting bursts shaped like a DC-4, flying outdated flight paths, always vanishing at the same coordinates. Satellite weather imagery would occasionally capture a strange, perfectly circular cloud formation hovering unnaturally over that same area. And every year, on July the 2nd, fishermen near Puerto Rico would swear they heard the faint, distant hum of propeller engines at dawn. One even claimed to see landing lights reflecting on the dark waves, followed by faint radio chatter and perfect mid-century diction. Miami Tower, this is Flight 914, requesting final approach. But no official radar ever confirmed it. The phenomenon became taboo, known only as the ghost route. Any pilot who officially reported it was quietly grounded for a fatigue evaluation. The most recent chapter in this terrifying saga occurred in 2024. A weather buoy, damaged in a storm and drifting 300 miles off the coast of Venezuela, began transmitting something it shouldn't have been able to, a short-range analog radio signal. The message was garbled, warped by time in the ocean, but it repeated for 12 hours before fading into static. Pan-continental Flight 914, passengers accounted for, requesting descent clearance. Authorities dismissed it as a hoax, simple radio interference. But one curious technician decided to analyze the raw transmission data. Buried deep within the signal, he found embedded metadata, an analog timestamp. The date was July 2, 1955. The time was 10:03 a.m., the exact moment Flight 914 had first vanished from the sky. No one knows where the plane is now. Is it trapped between moments in time? Is it still flying in some other reality, forever trying to complete its journey? We may never have the answers, but sometimes, on quiet nights in the control towers of the Caribbean, a controller will see it. A faint, unauthorized echo moving slowly across their screen. An outdated flight ID in a part of the sky where nothing should be. They call it the ghost corridor. And sometimes, if they listen closely to the static on an open channel, they swear they can hear a voice faint and far away calling out for a home it will never reach. Flight 914 to tower, Miami in sight. Then, as always, there is only silence. Thank you for joining me on this unsettling journey. If you enjoy diving into the unknown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. Stay safe out there.